yes. The boys are back in town. It's a three-man
Yes.
power trip once again. Guys, you're tuned in to Knock 'em Out the Box, episode 121.
121 and sap.
My name is Vinnie Paz. I'm here with my co-host, with the co-most, the Mr. Majestic Left, Right, Left Kid, Mr. Brendan Long.
What up, what up?
I'm also here with the man in charge, the Tower of Power, Irish Billy Betts.
Yo, he's the boss now.
He is. He
Boss
took
man
over.
Billy.
Boss man
That's
Billy.
it.
Hello, everyone.
See that nice disposition?
Glad to be back.
Yeah, I don't think you
Wow.
are. Guys, what we typically do, we dive right into the news every week. But I have a little something that a little note, what we say, that I received from a pro fighter that B and I know, and some of our other friends know. That's about as much as we'll say, right? We're not even going to say where, what weight class, anything.
Nothing. Can't say shit.
Can't say nothing. Guys, this is a 24 fight veteran. 22 wins, 2 losses, never been stopped. All 22 wins by a knockout. This is a real guy. He's worked in the boxing industry in various
You're giving up too many clues.
Nah, not when you think about how much this person could be from the Philippines, you know?
Maybe he is.
So the tank thing happens. We're not going to dwell on it at all after this tonight. It's a couple weeks old, but I just want you guys to understand.
Well, real quick, the New York State Athletic Commission upheld the draw decision.
Correct, which is a bad and awful decision.
Correct.
And we'll read what they said, which makes it worse. Because they were like, oh yeah, this is totally what you thought it was, but now we're not changing it. So this is a note from a buddy of mine, and I obviously said I want, I'm not going to say a name because this person's still active. So hope all is well with you and your family. Boxing just gets crazier and crazier. Now we're in a world where knockdowns are knockdowns, black is white and white is black. Now we see darkly through a mirror. The whole thing is an enigma and a version of the Matrix. The ref even started counting over dude and was overruled that it wasn't a knockdown. LOL.
By the side judge, correct?
Correct. I guess all those delayed reaction body shots Chavez landed shouldn't be credited for putting guys down after 2 or 3 seconds from a left hook to the liver? With a question mark. Follow the money. New York State Athletic Commission does what they always do, protect their investment. Not a lot of people know this and won't talk about it, but back in the day when De La Hoya fought Jesse James Leija, the referee they assigned is a good friend of mine, and he was approached by De La Hoya's people who tried to make sure he saw it for De La Hoya. If anything was going on, or if it was close, or if any judgment calls need to be made, they told the referee that he would need to get on board to get out. When that referee, a man of integrity, a very well-known man of integrity, said he doesn't play ball, he's neutral, they try to kick him out of the commission and send people to beat his ass. And their promoter was hooked up with somebody from the commission. They want to be wise guy, that shares the name with a real life wise guy, but no relation. And they send people after him to beat him up. So, guys, De La Hoya, Jesse James Leija, while not recent, certainly wasn't the 40s and 50s and 60s.
No.
It's not long ago. It's, you're talking the 90s, the mid 90s. That probably was.
I'm looking it up now.
De La Hoya.
Yeah, keep going.
So yeah, that's from somebody with skin in the game, no pun intended, currently still in the game. Probably if I really pushed, because this motherfucker doesn't care, he probably would have said, nah, I don't give a fuck if you put my name, but I'm not
95.
Right, that's what I figured.
At MSG.
Yeah. So they applied pressure and said, look, if anything, because Jesse James Leija was a good fighter, guys. Very capable guy, That was, that post, he fought Chavez twice, right? Was 94 the first one, then 96, the De La Hoya? I'm trying to think of like where, because he was still, there were still things that could when you're at that, it's
No,
that
he fought
very.
Chavez once, I thought. I didn't think he fought him
I thought
twice.
they ran it back. Um,
No, because he retired him in '98 in the eighth round. Did they fight before that?
I thought they did in '96.
Yes, they did. You're right. Yeah, he TKO'd him in '96. Correct. Um,
Um,
that was before that.
B, I guess, I mean, there's not much to say to that, right? It's just it's foul. So, well, the reason I read it, guys, is to say, it isn't a stretch to get to where B and I got to, and
Mhm.
we're not implying people were threatened to be hurt in the tank fight. We're saying these are the type of things that have and do go on. Um, and part of why I've always pushed for a national commission, which leads us into the first bit of news from this episode 121 of Knock 'em Out the Box. Turki Al-Sheikh and TKO have signed a multi-year partnership to establish a new boxing promotion with executive leadership anchored by UFC President Dana White and WWE President Nick Khan. The new promotion will feature, and I'm about to read off some things, but guys, first and foremost, B hits me up with this news when it breaks and said, "What the fuck does this mean?" We both get worried because we both we're not big fans of Dana White. I was gonna say a little bit, guys. So B and I aren't MMA guys. One thing I do know, because I know a lot of UFC guys through music. For some reason, a lot of those fighters connect with my stuff. They come out to ring walks, stuff like that, right? So if you're an MMA guy, you guys might know of a guy named Mac Danzig. He was on one of the seasons of that show that was really big.
The Ultimate Fighter.
Right. And Mac did well for himself. Mac also trained boxing too at Wildcard. Has an encyclopedic boxing mind. So I learned a lot about that game through him, not necessarily the
Mhm.
fights. I'm not someone to talk to about it. I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. But I learned a lot about the game, and I learned that, like, with the exception of the Irish guy and a couple guys,
Conor McGregor.
really, really, really good paydays in UFC are really, really bad paydays in boxing. Like,
Correct.
stars get paid 200K.
It's more of a job, and it's treated as such in MMA, where you get medical benefits. You basically work for
Right,
UFC.
right, right.
And it's again, it's a job.
His model is very similar to Vince McMahon, B.
Hmm.
There's these weird games. Well, you're a you're your own employer, but but you can't go work for someone else.
Can't go work
You're
for
an
someone else.
independent contractor, but you can't go. Well, no, if I'm in, that's the
Well,
guys. If
this
you
is the
don't
whole
know,
beef
that's how
with
Vince
Francis
McMahon.
Ngannou and why he took boxing matches
Right,
against
right.
Fury and Anthony Joshua.
But B, you knew that about Vince McMahon, right? And
Yes,
the company. You are on paper an independent contractor. Now
paid as a
you
1099.
correct. You and I are independent. We run our own businesses, but you can do what you do for your business
Hmm.
wherever you'd like, whenever
Wherever
you,
I want to.
as I can. Those guys can't go, oh,
No, they had to sign exclusivity deals and non-competes
which
for themselves.
right, which is in direct conflict of the idea of being an independent contractor.
Correct.
You're paying for those rental cars, you're paying for those rooms. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, things are
Yeah,
changing now in
I
the
think
world.
that I think UFC has, I mean, someone write in keotbboxing@gmail.com and correct me if I'm wrong. I do think part of the sell on this is that you are going to get some benefits. There are meaning medical benefits. That's what I mean
Yeah,
by benefits.
you've always known more about this than me. The only thing
You
I know.
also are going to, this isn't every UFC fighter.
Mhm.
This is if you like, okay, here's the deal. I signed a contract with UFC for 5 fights, say. So over
Okay,
the course of those 5 fights, you have a job,
sure.
okay?
Yeah,
And
for
you are privy to training in their facilities,
hmm
which is great. Look, that's how huge is that for any fighter, right? Like I can go to state of the art place to work out. So there are benefits. So I'm glad we're doing this first. I wanted to speak on it.
Yeah, cool.
I have my opinions about this stuff.
I do too.
And again, as more comes out, guys, you'll hear more of my opinion, more of what I think about it. Um, I immediately texted you and I texted some of my other friends that are involved in the sport.
Yeah.
And I said, did this guy just take over boxing? Now,
Now,
then I,
when you wrote me that, I had to get on my
right.
as you were talking to other people, so
Yeah.
was I, because you
So
got me nervous.
I, here's my opinion. This is going to be, in the beginning, beneficial for older fighters now fighting as gatekeepers, mid-tier guys who will never be megastars, and up and coming fighters, right? They're going to try to recruit up and coming fighters with this is very reminiscent of like NFL contracts 20 and 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Where they would sort of get a guy in and razzle dazzle him with the training facility and this, and then you see like their signing bonus compared to baseball and basketball, and you're like, wait a second. This top running back for the first 3 years of his career is only making 200K a year. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's going on here? And it was because of the high injury rate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, I repeat myself, but this is going to benefit in the beginning top, not top tier guys. Okay, your mid level guys, your
Yeah.
guys on the way out,
Yeah.
and some prospects coming up, like uh like a guy like Abdullah Mason. This is not for him.
Right.
He's a blue chipper.
Of course.
I will make money outside of this TKO fight league. I don't
Of
need to be in
course.
this.
I don't need this.
When I first heard the news before I started digging and poking at this, I thought
Hmm.
to myself, "Oh my God, they're look." Let's just talk about another thing too. Turkey's also come out. Turki Al-Sheikh has come out and said, "I'm going to crush every promoter in the business that he just worked with."
Oh yeah, he basically did the like I would crush. He did the Borat. And he said you must
Right,
crush.
right. He did the Drago. I mean,
Right.
it's
You would lose. I
yeah.
must break you.
So I'm confused there. I don't. UFC has its own batch of problems. You touched on it. Guys aren't earning enough. They want to go elsewhere. They're not happy. They're locked into contracts. So boxing has been a boxing has pay perspective.
But
UFC is still a relatively new sport. This is a 150-year-old sport. Boxing.
you made an amazing point though with talking about mid-level talent as
Right.
opposed because then that then this becomes a whole different thing.
So PBC, you and I have talked about
We
this.
did many times.
Tried this.
Correct.
This is what PBC wanted to do. Now,
Yes.
I don't care what side of the fucking fence you're on. This is what they wanted to do. I tweeted at a famous PBC fighter, and Andre Berto, and I
Hmm.
wrote, "This is PBC tried to do the in capitals the exact same thing," and he quote tweeted me and wrote facts.
Right.
So I was there. By the way, the anniversary just happened.
I had
Um,
people hitting me up and basically the implication of being like, now Dana's going to take over and this is what he's going to do. And look, there's a couple things with this show. We obviously, for obvious reasons, can't tell all of our sources. Sometimes we do. So you know what I mean? And say blah 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 blah. But I was trying to explain to someone that people like that we're talking about at these mid-tier guys and stuff like that. That someone like perfect, but like Abdullah Mason, who within a couple years, not now, could be making millions per fight. That guy's not going backwards and taking
no,
150K
but
for
a
fights.
guy who's a friend of this show and a friend of us, Tommy Raynone, where his career was, this would have been perfect for him.
And an amazing look because you're getting seen. You
Right.
put a couple wins together. There, it's really
You get the training. You can go
yes,
full immersion. You don't
yes.
have to have a day job. You go get a job with benefits.
When
And
you
it's
talk
boxing.
about a company like TKO, you know, with The Rock is on the board and stuff like that, it's like it's
Right.
almost as if it's like it's almost parallel to what they're doing at Pro Box, except this company's worth.
That's so okay. I you just took the words out of my mouth. The emergence of Pro Box and this will exist parallel.
Yes,
Pro Box will still thrive with this. This is going to Just ProBox is paying those guys pretty well too. And what ProBox is doing is saying, here's my position in the industry. I am going to be a launching pad, and that's why ProBox has been successful.
Yes.
So here's my message to TKO and to Turki Al-Sheikh and to Dana White.
Yeah.
And I'm going to phrase it like this. And I phrased it like this to my old friend Mike Woods today. Mike Woods and I were talking today, just today. We haven't talked in like a month. We were talking today. By the way, check out Mike Woods. By the way, that's my guy, my ace. We've been friends for like 12 years. That he's very, very, very close friend of mine. I hold near and dear to my heart. I said boxers have pay perspective. UFC fighters don't. UFC fighters, the UFC looks to boxers as the other major combat sport and goes, I want that big.
Yep.
So you're going to be hard pressed to get guys in a sport, in their own sport, that are going to look at a guy hitting a bag next to him at the gym and going, I'm going to go over here for $50K a year, or I'm going to stay right here and possibly earn a $1.5 million payday like this guy who I think is not that much better than me.
Right.
Again, so you and I are using Abdullah Mason, a blue chip prospect. He ain't going to this.
No.
Now, again, the pro box level guys, they might say, okay, if you're going to give me access to the training facility, throw a salary at me and benefits. I got young kids. I got a wife. Let's see how that works out. I may try that.
Yeah.
Sort of like, again, we're seeing guys, Nicholas Walters fought on Pro Box the other night.
Yeah. Former champion.
Fought at
the highest level.
Right. Beating Anito Donaire.
Did him dirty. Didn't just beat him. Did him
Stopped
dirty.
Almost shortly retired him.
Yes.
But Nonito's like fucking just keeps coming back. He's,
Yeah.
he's like a gremlin that you throw water on after midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, feed after midnight. But with that said, there will be a space for this. You're going to touch on it in news, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, and again, we say there's infinite amount of money being thrown at it. I think this move was made because these Saudi cards aren't doing great. Personally, I think this move was made very quickly because these Saudi cards are they're not taking hold.
Well, we didn't even really cover on the air that the last crescendo was moved. It was moved to another venue.
Right. Because
of lack of ticket sales.
They thought it was going to sell 25,000, correct?
Right,
and they moved to a 6,000 venue.
Correct.
And again, guys, we praise the card, but we have to report the facts of the facts.
Of course.
So don't you find it very strange that, or not strange, or it's got to raise an eyebrow, right? That I got Terrence Crawford to fight, bombed.
Mm-hmm.
We rented out the Santa Monica Pier, bombed. Okay, now we're coming to New York. We're doing this. We bought the ring. We're getting everything together, and the cards still aren't taking. And then you have, I don't know what Tank's PPV numbers were.
I still haven't seen them.
20,000 at Barclays though.
Right.
And a card that's inherently better had to get moved from a 25,000 seat venue to a 6,000 seat venue.
Yeah, a card that was being referred to as the greatest card ever. Look, whether it is or not, you and I compared it to the great Don King cards of the 90s.
Right. I said on paper, this is the best card I've ever seen.
Oh no, on paper, it
7 versus 7 belt exchanges.
Yes, crazy. It's fucking unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So
we also don't know. Here's another thing, bro. We haven't gotten into this, and we might not ever, other than right now. It's like, I don't know how economically intelligent it is to have fights there, because it is insane, rabid boxing fan base in Saudi.
They don't even know who these guys are.
Not that I know. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because I know people in the Middle East and literally every country. I have friends from Iraq. I have friends from Iran. I have friends in Syria. I have friends from Lebanon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't, I wasn't like, I'll tell you why this is brilliant, because it's a hotbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The concept of it brought here. Now that's where you and I get into the financials that we don't know. You
that we
know,
don't know. I
of
don't know.
like, but to me, you bring Better Be Evan Bivol to the Garden or Barclays, same card, same. This is the best card ever. The significance of the Saudi part is something that gets into politics, literal politics. I don't
Well,
mean
yeah, well,
politics
yeah,
of
no, of course.
boxing. I
Literal
mean literal
politics, yeah,
politics. And
geopolitical
yes, we
stuff.
want this country is viewed as such, and they are making a
It's
conscious
also hard to
effort.
get to,
Yes, 13
right?
hour flight from where we're at.
Right. So, I mean, you
6, 7 hour flight from Europe.
if you have this in a East or West Coast metropolis or Vegas, it's naturally gonna do better.
If you
Or if
had
you
it
had
in
it,
London, because
I was just gonna
people,
say in Wembley.
you and I, look, you and I are all, you're always ready to hop on a plane. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is there's something different between 13, 14, 15 hours and maybe five
Yeah, but again,
to London.
it's also are you boxing doesn't really necessarily have a hometown, right? It doesn't have a
No,
hometown,
no,
okay?
maybe
But
under your head, New York and Vegas, you know?
and London
Yeah,
and England,
yeah,
there are fights sold in England. I mean,
absolutely.
now
We talked about, bro, there's
speaking, but
5,000 tickets left for Ben. Uh,
2,500 tickets.
okay, so
It sold
last I saw was
60,000 in a
5.
day.
And then there was
So,
5,000. Now there's 2,000 left. So we
right.
look, us going, yo, UK fans, right in. Will this sell? I didn't know
You
if
don't
it would
have
do.
to.
I
Right.
didn't know if it would do the Barclays.
But let me
18, 19,
we've
20.
seen, of course, historically, Thriller in Manila, right?
Yeah,
Rumble in the Jungle. We've
yeah,
seen fights held neutral ground
yeah.
elsewhere.
Sure,
This is essentially that neutral ground. It's the same neutral ground though, right? So there's also like the thrill of that now is gone, right? So
sure,
we've had Riyadh season. We have this,
sure.
people are now associating it, you do have to move it around a bit.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Even Canelo, who is, look, he's a star here. Guys, think of what he is there. You go to Culiacan or he fights there once every, what, 4, 6 fights, and they go bad shit because he doesn't
right.
fight there every time. If every Canelo fight was there, every Canelo fight, would some of the luster wear off?
Sure.
Probably. I mean, I don't have the data in front of me that
Right.
says
And
that.
I don't either.
But
And
Chavez fought here and was
look,
from Mexico and would go back and then come in and go back and fight
you
in Vegas.
have two guys fighting who are kind of conversational English guys who don't speak Spanish,
Right.
right? So it's better be Evan Bivol, boxing purists. We love it. It's great.
Yeah, of course.
On in the middle of the day, great.
Yeah.
West Coast, it's on it. It was on at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever it
Right.
started. West Coast US, uh, prime time in Europe. Again, I praise the shit out of it, so I'm not gonna. But it just seems like numbers start to trickle out, and then all of a sudden, this deal's announced, signed, and I'm crushing every promoter. Um, it just seems very coincidental to me that this happened now. I don't think Dana White's. Dana White's been saying we've been praising this. Fights are getting made. Dana
Yeah.
White's been saying, the best don't fight the best. They're worried about their undefeated records. But Dana,
Yeah.
the last 2 years, they have been fighting the best. The undefeated records have been going away, and the sport is becoming more balanced internationally, similar to the NBA. So you have the lower divisions ruled by Japanese fighters, right? Which historically wasn't the case, okay? And mixed in with a Mexican American kid in Bam Rodriguez, right?
Right.
So the
Right.
changing of the guard with the Latin American guys like
Right.
Chocolatito
Right.
and historically Mexican guys now has sort of shifted, right, geographically to Japan. And those
Sure.
guys are all fighting each other,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Now, the middle divisions, you have a mixed bag. You have, Fundora, Tim Zhu, right? All these young guys fought each other and lost,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I'm just using them as an example.
Of
Terrence,
course.
Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence happened a year and a half ago. Two of
Yeah.
the most established guys in a glory division fought
Yeah.
each
And
other.
pound for pound at the
Tyson
time.
Fury and Alexander Usyk ran it
Usyk.
back twice,
Right.
risking their records. Anthony
Joshua and
Joshua
Usyk
fights
twice.
everybody.
Right.
So,
Whoever you put in
so
front of him.
again, now the light heavyweight division gets touched. You
Right.
had Canelo fight Bivol. I mean, even though Canelo had a loss, but
Yeah.
you had he fought Caleb Plant. Then Caleb Plant turns around and fights David Benavidez. Then David Benavidez fights David Morrell.
Morrell.
So
Yeah.
you have guys big names taking risks in as many divisions off the top of my head as I can describe.
Sure.
We at a little bit of a standstill around lightweight? Sure. But Zepeda and Tevin Farmer are running it back on the 29th.
And we said no way that rematch gets made, and they
Right.
made it, which is, you
Right.
know, yeah,
And they have major promoters. It's under a major banner, and it's now under the Premier Boxing banner, which is DAZN.
yeah.
So I'm I'm confused by the statement. Again, this is what happens when you have someone who's non 5 years ago, he's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, he's not wrong. But
No,
see, he's 2.5 years behind the ball now and
yeah,
behind what's happening. So to say that, I get like a little bit, I automatically get defensive as a boxing guy. I
agreed.
automatically get defensive because as this show has grown, we've seen boxing is in a great place
Great
in
place.
terms of who's fighting. And it started with, Gallo Estrada and Chocolatito fighting on like maybe our second episode. We were like,
Mm-hmm.
holy shit, these guys are running it back. Even though there
Right,
was losses, doesn't
right,
matter. This is what I'm saying. The losses don't matter. It's one fighting two or
right,
three fighting four, or three fighting one, or whatever
right.
combination you want to go. So for them, for Dana White specifically, and the other guy's Nick Khan,
Yeah, he's the
he's the
WWE guy
right.
who's
Now,
doing amazing work
are
with that.
they not understanding what's been happening?
Okay,
Maybe.
look, when you hit me, when you excuse me, I don't know what happened. This has been happening. This mic might be on the outs, B man.
Oh
Um,
no. Sounds
I
good.
know, I know. Um, so I went to the source, right?
Uh,
Because of being worried, man, because I don't like Dana White, and I don't like um if we're dealing in theoreticals where
mhm.
he could take it. So my fear was, is Turki Al-Sheikh, I'm the money guy and I'm handing you the creative rock, you know what I mean, of how to handle this. And I was like, is this dude in any sort of position of power in regards to this deal between these two and boxing and fights that get made? The person didn't even go to yes or no. They skipped over that and started laughing.
Okay. I don't know why Dana White then would agree to it.
I don't either. I'm just telling you from the horse's mouth of
Right. I mean, I
someone.
I I believe that that's something that he believes,
Uh-huh.
the horse's mouth, because I have an idea what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And no disrespect to him, but I don't think a billionaire fight promoter in Dana White he's worth $1 billion, the guy.
I don't know if he is, but they are.
He is
Oh, is
now.
he? He's
Yeah,
a
because
billionaire?
because of
Okay.
the investment he had with
And
like
when he sold
Endeavor.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Endeavor is the biggest one, and then TKO is under
under
Endeavor.
Endeavor, right.
That's Yuri Emanuel and all them.
Yeah, Ari Emanuel. Yeah,
Ari Emanuel.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, it's a talent agency.
I know together because the UFC and WWE are together now, and they put it at 8 billion.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Right.
I'm
So
look,
I just don't know why you would, I guess maybe boredom, but why you would take a submissive role in.
I believe 100% he's taking a submissive role.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with you going, well, why would he do that? He
Right.
created a company that was losing money in the
Mhm.
UFC in the 90s,
Had a vision,
had a vision,
got
turned
his
it into,
friends to invest
yes,
smartly.
and created a $1 billion plus
Mhm.
entity that
He
um
knows what he's doing. It's a matter of what the best. It's, of course, the cliche with, or not the cliche, the adage with him is, it's not the fighter's it's not to the fighter's best, it's not of the fighter's best interest. He's not
I
a
feel Nick Khan, who was the WWE president, is in a submissive role, and he's the top guy there. And I think because something says something on your business card or on your desk in your office
Mhm.
doesn't always mean
I think,
that
okay,
you are that.
I'll phrase it differently. People have needs for certain things, right? I have a need
They
for this,
do.
I have a need for that,
Sure,
right?
sure.
The money guys seem to have a need to make this have to. This is what I'm saying. Need this to
Hmm.
turn some dollars because look,
Sure.
no one throws good money at bad. You know what I mean?
No.
No one wants to do that. So my speculation is that there is some frustration with the three promoters that Riyadh season was working with, and now they're just like, let's just go for broke, do the announcement. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna crush these guys because you were working with Oscar, Eddie, and Frank Warren and getting them to work together.
Yeah.
Talking about doing 5-on-5s, talking about doing this, different tournament fighting, this, and then bang, this announcement comes. You
Look,
bought the ring, you did this, you did that, and
I'm not saying that.
I'm grateful for the last year and a half of cards.
So am I. And when you throw Dana into that mix, my head doesn't go to good places.
Me neither.
No Diddy. So I have to I have to maybe by choice believe what I was told. Look,
I don't.
nothing unless
Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
not believe it. I'm just curious why a Dana White and a Nick Khan
I
and a
hear you and I
yeah,
agree with
and
it. I'm just
TKO
telling
and
you
Endeavor would go
that
okay.
this Dana White and Nick Khan are not bully footing Turki Al-Sheikh. I'm fucking flat out saying that.
I don't. I agree. I don't think they're doing that either. I think that this has to be beneficial for everybody involved. So there's got to be everyone's. I just can't put my finger on it yet.
I That's a good here's a few of the things before we move on
Like, are they
next.
gonna real quick? Are they gonna try to do the PBC thing and poach every fighter, big name? Like PBC didn't really grow or curate anybody.
Well, that's where we go back to the very beginning and we talk about is this mid-tier stuff because no one's going there and taking a pay cut. That's what
But
someone was
but
trying
real
to
quick
argue
though,
with me on Twitter.
in fairness, in fairness, let's call spades spades on this show.
Sure.
Oscar never fucking grew anybody. And the one guy he was growing, he ruined them by throwing him in there with fucking Marcos Maidana, Victor Ortiz. That was Oscar's only fucking prospect. You know that, right? Everybody else he tried to buy, poach, and otherwise from Top Rank, from main events,
Yeah, I
from
mean
Goosen, from
they'll sell
established promoting
yeah,
promoters.
they'll sell you on the fact that that's not true. You know what I mean?
Who,
But
Oscar?
yeah, the
Oscar
Golden
and
Boy.
Richard Schaefer. That was their model. We have big bank, we have investors, and we have Oscar's money. And we're gonna dude, the whole beef with Pacquiao was they gave him a fucking literal bag of cash. Pacquiao called Bob and was like, "Yo, your man's is over here giving me money," and Bob's like, "Keep it." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But come
Yeah.
back to us.
Yeah, of course.
And
Of
then Oscar
course.
wanted to fight Pacquiao because of that, literally, and then got his ass whooped over it.
Yeah. So this may answer some of the questions that either we have or the listeners have. The new promotion will feature a highly structured system to develop new talent from around the world, including athlete combines and academies. Access for all boxers to the UFC Performance Institute, the world's leading combat sports performance training, research, rehabilitation, and nutrition center. TKO's production, media, and promotional expertise to deliver both in arena experiences and top tier, state of the art broadcast to fans around the world. I can say this um, what they've done production wise so far for these other entities has been unreal.
Yeah, it's good.
Unreal. So, yeah. Further details about the new promotion, including further signings, fight schedules, venues, host locations, will be revealed in the coming months. That's going to answer some questions for you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it going to be? Is it going to be an Arnold Kagai type fighter? You know,
Mm-hmm. Could
that's
be.
sort of what you and I think. I'm just trying to explain I have two strong feelings, and then we're moving on, because we got to. That is one that um Turki Al-Sheikh isn't just going to let Dana steamroll this and do whatever he
I don't
wants.
think that's going to happen either.
And if you think that their model, which is really the PBC model, because they're saying the UFC model, you know what I'm saying? Their model, if you think guys are going from a sport where they get the bag are going to getting paid $200,000 for being the main event, you're sorely mistaken.
One thing we know about boxing is this, right? As much as they say that whatever, boxers and promoters are perfectly fucking fine with not giving you the best product available.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So if a boxer goes, you and I talk about it. What other sport does the best not fight the best and still call themselves a champion? The
Right.
best not compete against the best and still call themselves a champion.
Right. I'm
So
the Super Bowl, but I didn't beat that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So a boxer and a promoter and a manager and a fucking trainer and this and that goes, this is a better bet for us.
Hmm.
I mean, we see it
We see
all the
it
fucking time.
all the time. We're gonna see some notes and news where it
Right.
happens. Gilberto Zordo Ramirez will defend his WBA and WBO cruiserweight world titles versus Uniel Dorticos on June 28th. He can fight.
Yeah, but
He's a little bit at the tail end. Yeah,
he's got to be. I mean, he was one of my favorites.
he
And
was a goon. He was a goon. I
yeah.
thought he was gonna have a run like an Usyk
Well, he
type.
took time off, right? He got Gassiev stopped TKO'd him in 2018.
Yeah, that was
And then
yeah.
he's only had one, two, three, four. He lost to Bradis. Five, one, two, three, four, five, six. He's had 6 fights in the last 6 years.
Yeah, it's no good. I mean, what do you think about that for Zordo in a division that isn't deep? That's a weird fight for me. I don't know, but Juniel Dorticos
I
could
thought
fight.
we were getting Opataya.
So did I. That's why this is just as much news, not
Yeah.
being Opataya as it is, being
Yeah. I
Dorticos.
mean,
So you have to make that next after that, right? That's got to be in the
yes.
fall. You have to do that. So they better put Opataya, they better get him ready for
Irish Mike Perez is still floating around.
Is he really?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Dillian White versus Joe Joyce is
He'll
now
he'll be
off.
fighting in the TKO league.
Dillian White versus Joe Joyce is now off, as White has been forced to withdraw from the fight due to an injury.
I saw
That
this.
that injuries maybe could have been the same one Dubois had, if you ask me.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's understood that Joyce is seeking a replacement opponent and plans to still fight on April 5th. So they're trying
From
to
the
salvage
files of who cares.
Right, right. So they're trying to salvage that card, which is
Yeah.
just more boxing the better, I guess. In an article on the WBA website, it is suggested that the decision not to award Lamont Roach a knockdown of Gervonta Tank Davis when he took a knee in round 9 was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. From our perspective, referee Steve Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. He ruled in real time that Davis had not been struck by a punch before going down.
So what?
And therefore no knockdown should be recorded. That's not
What precedent does this set?
I've never seen so many fighters from every promotional unit, from every
Yeah.
part of the world. No one said that's not a knockdown. Everyone that spoke on it was like,
Said it's a knockdown.
that's a knockdown. I'm talking.
And now they're getting criticized by this fucking Tank fans.
Yes, and Tank getting because what Bud said.
Yeah, now that he's a sellout.
He's a hater, is what Tank said, and he's like, hater. Look at our resumes, bro. What am
Right.
I? By every calculable measure, I'm the Don, and you've done nothing.
Right. Paulie, Tank. From Paulie to Canelo to Bud, like you said, everybody
and really
said
quick, Canelo always sings Tank's praises.
Loves him.
Like when they say, "Who is your favorite fighter?" He'll be like, "Tank."
Yo, Tank is a lot of fighters' favorite fighter.
A lot, bro. A lot.
And they're all saying it was a knockdown.
Of course.
Because you know what they know? This is going to set a bad precedent.
Yes.
This is going to, and of course it was a knockdown. They all have eyes.
Of course.
We covered it last week ad nauseum.
Yeah.
It's so insane. This is so insane to me. I'm frustrated and not by the non-reversal.
You and I weren't prepared to come on here and announce that it had been reversed.
Right.
And Lamont Roach is the new WBA.
Whatever.
But we
You know,
just, yeah, it's so a little bit. WBA president Gilberto Mendoza has told the Ring magazine that he is still pursuing a Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch. He has also clarified that an article published on the WBA website,
yeah, this
which
is
said
wild.
the no knockdown call in the fight was correct, was solely the opinion of that specific author and
So
does
let me
not
ask you this.
reflect the WBA's view. Should I finish or you want to
No,
again?
I'll go. I'm sorry, Vinny. Sorry. Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
Mendoza himself believes a knockdown should have been called, which would have resulted in a decision victory for Roach. So now the New York
So
State
who
has
the fuck who has access to the WB's website to put an op-ed up there,
an
right?
op-ed,
Which
right?
okay, why does the WBA's website have any availability for an op-ed? Belts should be factual.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like that's it. You're the champion. That's it.
Yes,
Secondly, A, who has access to do that? And B, once that's out into the ether, the damage is done.
it's
People
done.
took that off their website, ran with it. See, even the WBA says it
Yeah,
wasn't a
can't
knockdown.
put the toothpaste back in the tube once that
Can't do it.
goes out. People are screenshotting it, sending it to
Yep.
you, and you
Oh,
argue
so
it's a knockdown.
stupid.
Stupid. I don't. This will be the again because we say we're going to stop talking about it until it's time to talk about it again. Do they run it back next?
I don't know. Do you know what, man? Up is down, left is right.
Yeah,
Daylight savings time just happened, so
yeah. Like our
I
guy
don't
said
fuck.
in the opening letter, yeah, what however he said it, but I think he said that up is down,
Yeah,
black is white. And the Dimitri Bivol versus David Benavidez is close to being finalized by Matchroom and PBC this summer for Bivol's undisputed light heavyweight championship.
this is making my point
Thoughts?
from the yes. I'm gonna go ahead. You want to start a fucking fight league? Here's what we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna start making fucking fights.
Yep.
You want to, if that's what it does and it pushes people to do that. See, I don't think what Dana and Nick Khan and Endeavor understand is because they're not. Dana should know because he is a boxing fan.
A little bit, but I know what you were going to say. You're going, everyone involved isn't a boxing person.
Right.
You have tons of money. You're hugely successful.
Turkey's
More
not a
successful.
boxing person.
No, not in my
So,
opinion.
right. So you're going to tell a second generation boxing promoter he's not going to make fights. You're going to tell a guy who was basically promoting himself and came up under Bob Arum in
This
Golden
handsome
Boy.
Eddie was on the phone so fucking fast to this Heyman or
Yep.
Sam or somebody being like, no beef. Let's make this now
Let's
before
make this
these.
now.
Let's do it. Let's undercut
Let's
Tom
go.
Green. Undercutter's Pizza. Undercutter's Pizza. They did
Undercutter's
an
Pizza.
Undercutter's Pizza, Matchroom and PVC together to make this complete. Because Turki Al-Sheikh said, I'm not going to bid on that fight. And they said, well,
Right.
hey, you want to do the trilogy? That's the fight you want when they
And
did
we'll
it.
throw a monkey wrench in that trilogy.
Yes, we'll throw my and we love this fight, meaning the fan. We're not.
Right.
I love this
And
fight.
we'll do it in a major American city
Yes,
or
of
Vegas.
course. This will
We'll
be in Vegas or New York. I
right.
bet. I mean,
Right.
we don't have
We'll
the.
slam it right there. We'll do
Yeah,
wild numbers.
yeah.
You know,
We'll put on all the guys on both for
I actually
both
wonder if
promotions on the
this will definitely be
undercard.
on the West Coast, I think.
You think?
Yeah. There's a big
Yeah.
enough Russian population there, and I think that they'll obviously the
I
Mexican
mean, Benavidez
is from
is
the West Coast.
Mexican and from the West Coast.
I
On
think that
him alone, you could do it out there. So
they
you're
did at the
probably right.
Footprint Center, it'd be wild.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
Yeah.
So they already showed
This
that
is 100% retaliation.
it's
You said you're going to
even,
crush me?
it's not even up for debate. They called each other and said, "Did you hear what this motherfucker just said?" Yeah, I
Yep.
heard him. Let's make this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is fair?
And they called Benavidez and like, all right, this is going to work out well for you.
Yep.
And Bivol's like, I'm cashing in too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And
Benavidez
Bivol
will
says,
fight anyone.
and Bivol and Benavidez have a sparring history, and both of those motherfuckers are like, I can beat that guy.
Yep. And it's I can tell you now, guys, this is a great fight. Great
fight.
matchup. I mean, a come forward monster against a guy who can pick you apart when you come forward. Come on. Come on. I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that they were like, oh, word? You're gonna smash us? Okay.
Yeah.
How about we make the
If
biggest
you're going to
fight
smash us, then we're going out with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guess we'll come work for you if you crush us, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Or
if Bivol wins, we'll make the trilogy without you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. This is
He's
a
my
good
fighter.
right. Right. This is a good one, B. I don't know if you saw it. Naoya Inoue will defend his undisputed ring WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO Super Bantam world titles versus Ramon Cardenas on
Yep.
Sunday, May 4th at T-Mobile. That's weird. Is that wrong? So it's
Mm-mm.
going the second is the New York card, the third is the Canelo, and then the
Yep.
fourth is okay. That's wild. At T-Mobile in Vegas, and will then fight MJ on September 14th in Tokyo if he wins. So Muradjan Akhmadaliev, who clearly thinks he's like the the
The-
trainer of everyone from that part of the world, because
Eddie
he's
promotes him.
yeah, but he's in the corner this during this show with all those guys from the Eastern Bloc in the
Yeah.
corners, yelling at people. It was funny. Lastly,
He's a
Alcatraz.
little general.
He is. That's your
Wears
guy.
a
You
little
like the
hat.
little hat.
He wears a little hat.
Lastly, Alcatraz, the world's most infamous prison, will host a star-studded boxing event presented by The Ring in March 2026. And on July 12th, The Ring will host its second boxing event at an iconic location to be determined in New
So
York City.
Alcatraz is they're postponing that a year.
Yes. So we're going
So that was supposed to be Teo. Was
correct.
supposed to fight in Alcatraz.
Correct. So they're going the first crazy idea, Times Square, uh, on May 2nd. They're gonna do another weird location in July 12th. As a New Yorker, your guess would be as good as mine. Do they bring people on a boat to Governor's Island? Something weird like that. When you use the word iconic, I start thinking outside the box. If you're thinking Alcatraz, and
I'm
then the
probably,
first
I'll be honest with you, dude, it's probably the Garden.
you would, so you think they would use iconic
It's
because it's the fucking mecca of boxing?
yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I
I mean,
can't
it's
think of so what let's be honest.
yeah,
No one besides New Yorkers know what the Brooklyn Promenade is. So it's not
correct.
going to be like in Brooklyn Heights on the Promenade. It's I don't think you can do it. The Statue of Liberty is the second
B, what is the thing where they did some Friday night fights where they fought on one of those like ships?
on a
Remember that?
barge. Yeah.
No, like the military, you know how Philly
Yeah.
and New York have
Yeah,
them.
yeah. The oh, it's
Remember
the
they did
yes.
Friday night fights on there?
It's yeah, it's the oh fuck. What is wrong with me?
I
It's
don't
every
know.
kid
I
takes a
forget.
field trip to it.
Yeah, that's how the Philly
Um
one is. And then it just left Philly after like 8 trillion years. So it's
yeah.
this big fucking deal that this
Right, right, right.
stupid fucking ship that I had to look at all the time
Right, it's on the
left.
west side.
I didn't think the stupid thing could move. The thing that moved from Philly. I thought it was
Okay.
just a hunk of metal, a huge hunk of metal that was there.
Hold on. Fucking it's like an aircraft carrier.
Come on, you dingbat. Isn't
The
that where
Intrepid. It's the Intrepid. The Intrepid.
didn't
Yes. Intrepid Boxing. I'm gonna look
didn't
it up right now.
but didn't what's his name? Didn't Lex Luger slam Yokozuna on that thing?
Did that
Remember?
happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, Intrepid Boxing
This
match.
Lex Luger is a nice guy now because he's in a wheelchair after being a fucking creep his whole life.
Yeah, he just got elected to the Hall of Fame or something.
Yeah. So they're doing revisionist history.
I can't figure out what the fuck was on here. But there
All
was
right.
there was a fight at the Intrepid. Maybe it's gonna be on the Intrepid. That was what
I'm just thinking of things
so
that
the
I
Intrepid, the whole thing with the Intrepid is the ports on the west side of Manhattan all got shut down to basically set up a museum
yeah.
in like whenever they put the Intrepid there. I think in the 80s. Um that the whole Westies that like kind of put them out of business. But they had the contract to get all of that in. The Intrepid, like their big thing.
Yeah.
It's all like
Yeah.
Irish mob run.
Hmm.
And they got that in, and then I think that was it. There was no the Steve Doors had to move out of there.
All right, guys. I'm gonna get through. We're gonna go through some reviews real quick. Whatever B didn't watch, just cut me off, B. You know how we
Okay.
do.
Yep.
We do that. Thursday night, the Zone Golden Boy Fight Night, Indio, California. Beto Duran and Gabe Rosado on the call. Again, Gabe Rosado's killing it. And he does
I
a
hear
great job.
you like him, and I hear a lot of mixed reviews.
Hmm.
I side with you on this. I think he's doing great.
He's very much a fighter's announcer.
Yeah.
I can see someone that's casual tuning in and being like, "What? Why isn't this guy?
Yeah, yeah.
This guy's making things more complicated for me, and I don't understand what he's saying." Maybe Johnny Cañas, 22 years old, 6-0, 2 KOs versus Jesus Perez. Uh, Lightweights. Look, a 6'1" lightweight that makes lightweight easy it just isn't something you see.
Hmm.
He fights tall, high guard, feints well, good jab, puts a nice right hand behind it. My concern be we have this concern a lot with up and coming fighters or
Yeah.
potential prospects, or are they a blue chipper? Is a complete lack of power. We don't harp on power on this show like that. We don't harp on fighters power too much. And some of our favorite guys currently or historically aren't punchers, but you have to have at least enough mustard on your shots to keep a guy honest. You
Yeah.
know, we don't talk, oh, this guy's knocking everyone out. That's not kind of really the kind of show we are. Cañas was landing some clean shots, and Jesus Perez was eating them like they were nothing. 60-54 on all three cards. Side note, this ref, Ray Armendariz, this guy's great. We need more of this guy. Uh, Federico Pacheco, Diego's brother,
Hmm.
21 years old, 7-0, 5 KOs, 271 pounds. Versus this kid Cazares, who was 2-4. Uh, 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 no, I forget it. No, I have his record right. B, the kid weighed 190 pounds.
I saw that shit.
Diego's brother weighed 271. It's wild that Pacheco is this out of shape at 21 years old. I think of yourself at 21. I'm thinking of myself, you know, and the
Hmm.
fact that his brother's in such good shape, he's surprisingly athletic. There's that word we hate for being so fucking overweight. My guess is that he grew up in the gym with Diego, so therefore he just knows what he's doing just from that.
Hmm.
Cazada's corner stopped it in late in the sixth. I can't see Federico Pacheco getting out of that LA club fight scene. I don't know, but you know,
6'5", big boy.
yeah. Ruslan Abdullayev, pro debut, decorated amateur, standout Olympian, a wonky loss at those Paris Olympics. Versus a guy named Jose Alvarado, who has never been down, never been stopped, 140 pounds. Look, Ruslan Abdullayev was 286 and 14 in the amateurs. His style is tailor-made for the pros. He looks like this was his 15th, 16th pro fight.
Hmm.
Brutal Chavez-esque hooks to the body. He can be the aggressor. Um, he can walk you into shots. In the second, he slips a right hand and threw a counter left hook to the body that folded Alvarado up. This guy spits his mouthpiece out and let out an audible scream. I don't think I've ever seen that. Um, one of the most perfect body shots I've ever seen. And remember, this guy's never been dropped, let alone KO'd. This is a KO LTB first, be 121 episodes. I'm stamping someone based on their pro debut.
Pro debut against a
Ruslan,
3-20.
yes, Ruslan Abdullayev is a gun. Azzy prospect, stamp him. I don't care about the record. His chin is iron. He never was even dropped in 24 fights. Never
Okay.
went down. An already stamped Pazzi prospect, Grant Flores, 20 years old, 8-0, 6 KOs, fought 42 days ago when I was fucking praising him then. I loved it. He's fighting a month and a half later versus Laquan Q Evans, West Philly guy, 5-3, 2 KOs. Tough guy. He spars with everyone he's around, you know, he's one tough Philly guy. So I'm like, I'm not mad at this with Grant Flores because Q is tough. This Grant Flores demolishes Q Evans and packs him up in the second. Massive shots, flying his head. The great, the great Ray Armendariz, my new favorite ref, jumped in and stopped it. Let's step him up a little bit, B, because this is who you're supposed to be fighting at this point. A tough Philly guy,
Yeah,
Philly
yeah.
Gym Wars that's got a winning record and his head like a bobblehead. Or is it too early?
So, he's only 9-0, bro.
So you still feed him a few more.
Yeah. He's 9-0 with 7 KOs. He
This kid is
beats he
good,
beats
man.
Laquan Evans, who's a 5-3. I
It's a
mean,
tough 5-3 though, man.
but still, it's still a 5-3. You know. Um, I think we got to give him 3 more fights.
All right. He's all right. Wait, 3 more fights until he steps up, or until because I already stamped him.
No, till he steps up. Three
All
more
right.
fights.
All right. 12th, 13th fight.
Well, that's what we're seeing. Keyshawn Davis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're starting to see that. So it'll be around. I think the fights are going to be more around 15 fights as opposed to 20 to 25 like they
I
used to
do
be, or
too,
20 to
especially if
22.
you developed, like this.
Yeah.
Main event was Gucci Manny Flores, 19-1, 15 KOs. That loss to Walter Santibanez was a huge roadblock, in my opinion. But to me, it's proven it was an off night for him since then. Versus Jorge Leva, 18-3, 13 KOs, never been stopped. Is 118 pounds. Manny Flores rocks the rat tail. We champion that on this show. We're
Gotta
already, as
have it.
soon as we see it, you're a KEOTB favorite. When you have a rat tail in this day and age,
Yeah.
we're in. Both guys southpaw, so I always have a concern that it's going to be an awkward fight, but it was fine. From the opening bell, Manny Flores was sitting down on his punches. Another thing he was doing, which I didn't see him do before. When there were lows in the action, B, he just started popping that jab out there, which we always talk about.
Yep.
It kept Leva guessing. We always talk, if there's nothing going on, jab. If
Yeah.
there's nothing going on, jab. He dropped Leva on the third with a 1-2, followed by another 1-2. I don't know why people don't do that. They did it a lot when we were younger. A
Yeah.
nice 1-2, and then go do it again. You don't need to put a 3 or a 4. Why not throw that combo again? It worked boop, 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 boop. Um, yeah, so he dropped him fourth round. Manny Flores, this is brilliant. This is smart. This is smart, high IQ stuff. He throws a 1-2, but the 2 was to the body, and because of
Hmm.
that previous one, he's expecting it to come upstairs.
Right.
Folded him up, packed him up. Ray Corona counted him out. That's the best I've ever seen Manny Flores in 21 fights, I think now. Um, so he's now 20-1, 16 KOs. Where do you think he's at this stage? Because now you're getting into you said, the 20 around fights around there. We got to,
Again, though, he had a loss. You know what I mean? So that
yeah,
sets him
that
back.
derailed him. That
Right.
derailed him. Yeah.
So he's back. He's ranked. Let's look where he's ranked. Manny Flores.
Yeah. Where did they have him at 118? Because there's a lot of good guys there.
Right. So you got Inoue, John Real Casimiro, Sam Goodman, Alan Picasso, Marlon Tapales. You got to get him in there with a top 10 guy.
I
So
was going to ask you, next fight, top 10?
so Agba Delayev is can't fight him. Cardenas has a fight. I would say a Marlon Tapales
I was
or
just going to say, what about Marlon Tapales?
yeah, a Marlon Tapales fight would be good. Subaru Murata, you know what I
He's
mean?
good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't see any reason for any more marinating.
Guillermo Regan though is back and fighting. He never really left.
Yeah.
Um, he scored 2 KOs in his last 2 fights. I wouldn't put anybody anywhere near that fucking guy. He could totally fucking derail you.
Oh, of
You know,
course. Of course.
um,
It's all risk, no reward.
all risk no
Because when
reward.
you win,
Because
you beat a 90-year-old Rigondeaux.
he's
And we know,
40. He's listed at 44
so he's 52.
at least.
Yeah.
All right,
Friday on the Zone, Toronto Casino Resort, Toronto, Canada. This guy we talked about, this
Lucas
Prince Lucas
Body.
Body, 18-0, 15 KOs versus Ryan James Racaza, 15-0, 11 KOs. We said, look, we're iffy about this guy.
Well, because he's living off of that KO.
Right. Look, he was on that
You guys don't know
Tyson.
what I'm talking about. It's he KO'd um Ashton Sylvie last year.
Yes, and
That was like the KO of the year.
and he was behind in that fight,
Behind in
but
that
he
fight,
did
correct.
him dirty. He also was on the Tyson Jake Paul undercard. So if anyone is familiar with him, my guess is that's how. This is my fourth or fifth time seeing him. He's ranked in the top 10 by all four sanctioning bodies, which I don't know what wins gone. I don't know. I don't know. His style is really to wait on you, hoping to set traps so he can
Yeah.
counter. This Ryan James Rakaza can fight. He wasn't intimidated being in hostile territory. It didn't seem. He was
I
pressing.
don't think I've ever really seen Filipinos from the Philippines intimidated.
No,
Like
agreed.
they're about it.
They're with it. Um, he, he was pressing the action, doing well in spots. Body throws a nice double jab and puts a nice right hand to the body. Rakaza was landing a crisp left upstairs a lot. Rounds were close, tough to score, at least for me. The more Rakaza fired that left hand, the more Body's game plan was disrupted. Body landed a wild cupping left in the seventh that landed on the back of Rakaza's head. It was mad awkward to me. It looked weird. He popped right up and protested, but it was scored a knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna, it's after the Tank thing, I'm sort of done. But this is a
Right.
fun fight, back and forth action. These guys were oozing machismo. Uh, both guys landing big shots throughout the fight. I had it 5 rounds apiece, but my
Okay.
score was 95-94 Lucas
Because
Body
of the
because of that knockdown.
knockdown. Man.
Judges had it 99-90. That was Judge Alan Davis. Yo, pack him up.
Yeah.
Pack him up. 96-93. I'm all right with that card. Maybe. 97-92 is too wide for me. All for Prince Lucas Body. Alan Davis needs to be suspended. I want to see Ryan James Rakaza again. Considering Lucas Body is ranked by all 4 sanctioning bodies, he needs to be back in there soon with a top 10
I'm
guy.
just looking at all 3 Canadian judges.
Uh, I couldn't even believe what I was saying, but he needs to be in there.
Except they throw in Martin Dalita, who is a Filipino national living in Ontario, Canada.
Oh,
So
all right.
they gave the guy one. And the referee, Mark Simmons, is also Canadian.
Yeah,
So, all
that's
right.
all
Well,
right.
moving on.
Saturday, Pro Box, Long Beach, California. Our guys, Paulie
Little upset.
Malignaggi. Paul Malignaggi, Chris Algieri, Jimmy Smith on the call. Justin Valoria, that's Brian, the Hawaiian Punch, Valoria's nephew.
Hmm.
705 KOs versus Juan Centeno. Valoria this kid's a destroyer. The bell rings, he lets his shit fly, gets leverage on his shots, immediately knocks this Sentinel down. He got up, Valoria jumps all over him, upstairs, downstairs. The ref jumped in and stopped it. He packed him up in about 65 seconds. So
Mm-hmm.
my eyes on
Yeah.
Brian Valoria was a great Olympian, and I had massive high hopes, and he had a really good career. Not a
Yeah.
great one, but I thought he was gonna have that was my guy coming out of those Olympics. Um, Joshua Anton, 9-0, 8 KOs versus Tariq Green, another Philly guy, but North Philly. Um, Look, I know Tariq from just being around and he spars with everyone. The record is deceptive. So he's good. Again, Pro Box isn't putting their prospects in soft, guys.
No.
Anton is a solid, well-taught fighter. Remember how Paul Malignaggi was talking about Lamont Roach in that
Mm-hmm.
clip we played?
Yep.
Very similar to that. Nothing special that jumps out at you, but he's very active. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Straight left hand in the fourth hurt Tariq Green badly. Anton follows it up by moving his hands. Green went down. The ref waved it off. Good win for Joshua Anton. I'm not ready to put a stamp on him yet because he doesn't jump out at you as special, but he's a lunch. You like to refer to them as lunch pail guys.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys can get a title, they can grab a title. It's not always a special thing. Brandon McCarthy, kid who moved to LA from Ireland to train at Wild Card with Marvin Somodio. 4-0, 1 KO. Again, I worry. I don't need to be uh lured in by power, but these fights, if you're not stopping guys, I'm worried where you're gonna go.
Right.
Fighting Jose Rodriguez, 7-2, 3 KOs, lightweights, really good jab from McCarthy. Doubles, triples it up, which I love the most. Always automatically endears me to a fighter when a guy does that. Doubles and triples up that jab.
Mm-hmm.
Puts a nice short crisp right behind it, moves his head well, feints a lot. Great left hook to the body. This kid's really good. He fights in the pocket. And in order to do that and be successful, you need to be tricky defensively. Good defensively. And of course, you're right there to fire back with those counters, when you do make the guy miss. Jose Rodriguez landed a big right in the fifth that hurt McCarthy. He was on Queer Street for a quick second. He weathered the storm. Sixth round was tough too. This Jose Rodriguez did not just show up for a check. Tough kid. I had it 59-55. Brandon McCarthy. Judges had it 60-54, 59-55 twice. He's only 5 fights in, but I'm close to stamping this kid as a Pazzi prospect. But I'm gonna hold off. 1, 2 more fights I gotta see, B. But this
Okay.
kid's good. Louis Lopez versus Jesus Saracho. Nice little old school mano y mano scrap, back and forth action. Not a fight where we discuss X's and O's, just a fun little fight. Watch it if you want to, check it out.
Yeah.
It's for free on ProBox. It was a majority draw. Former champion, Nicholas the
Nicholas
Axeman
Walters.
Walters, 39 years old, 29 1-1, 22 KOs, was once the most feared puncher in that division. Looked to me a little flabby. I don't know what you thought of his physique. That doesn't mean much. Luis Torres, 20-1, 11 KOs. First off, that Adorno win for Walters went under the radar and was a nice win for a guy that's been, hasn't been super
Yeah.
active. In that fight, he didn't look like a 39-year-old fighter.
No.
Torres is an active fighter, very busy. At 39, Walters has a different understanding of pace, He
Yeah.
was waiting on Torres early, setting traps, cracking him with a right hand counter. I said, all right, Axeman looks all right.
Yeah.
Walters gets hurt by a right hook. B. A left uppercut barely glanced him, and he turned his back to the ref and walked into the corner. The ref could have stopped it right there because that's what we
Right.
keep saying about tanks. Or would you just stop fighting? But he gave him a count. Walter said he was okay. The round ends, and Walter's corner stops it in between rounds. I never got anything. Did
Weird.
you?
Yeah. No. And
He
it's
walked out. So there was no post-fight interview with him. He quit on his stool against Lomachenko?
what
Is
is
this?
what is Walter's deal? He's Jamaican, trains but he trains out of Panama.
Yeah, but is he like half Panamanian that you would even go there? I mean,
I don't know,
I,
but it's
this was
it's
weird to
weird.
me. This whole thing.
39. He fought as high as junior middleweight. Remember, he like came in like as to. I'm trying to look now. He fought. Remember, he was fighting in like Colombia.
Yeah, but when it happened, we were like, are we getting proper information here? Is this like the Cubano age here? Or is
I don't
Walters
know, man. I
taking
think
fights
he's.
at like 154 and then getting
That's
back
what I'm
down
saying.
to
It's weird. So he fought twice on Pro Box, right? Because he fought this fight and the Adorno fight were both on Pro Box, and that
right?
was after fighting 2 fights after a seven. You heard that right. 7 year layoff
Yeah.
where he just disappeared from the
After the
sport.
Loma after the Loma beating.
Right. Which even the Loma beating was weird because he had that. Well, it wasn't that weird because he had that draw with Jason Sosa,
Yeah. But
right?
there's something weird going on with Axeman where your two
Well, I think
L's
that
are being like,
yeah,
I think I'm done.
right.
Guys, I don't want no more. It was both of these, you know. Loma certainly never a destructive puncher.
No,
Definitely has pop
his
and
best
will
weight,
eat you up.
his best weight was featherweight,
Yeah,
and
126. This guy was a
right,
killer.
and then he moved up to 130,
Yeah.
and that's where the Jason Sosa fight was a majority draw, and Loma kicked his ass.
Yeah.
Um, that was prime Nomaschenko.
Yes.
Um,
Main event.
Main event.
Arnold Kagai. 22-1. One draw, 14 KOs. Only lost to Cool Boy Steph. That's not a bad loss on your resume, and it's
No.
looking better. Versus Joet Gonzalez. Look, Joet Gonzalez only really loses the champions.
Yeah.
He goes up. Real elite guys can't win. Pretty much beats everyone else. This is a 126 we just mentioned featherweight. Look, we're gonna have some arguments here, B. Arnold Kagai established a rhythm early. Your
Okay.
job is to disrupt that rhythm. The guy
Hmm.
would be on the outside, get inside, rip off 5 shots, da, 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 get back out. Thomas Taylor, our guy, takes a point from Kagai in the fifth for clinching, which was a bad call in my opinion. I think
Hmm.
that was a bad call.
We've kind of seen him have a couple bad nights.
It's the jinx of us with this calling a go. That's
Well, I also think mm,
if this guy Ray
you start to call a lot of
Armendariz starts doing dumb shit, we got a hex on us. We
we got a
better
hex.
stop.
But it's you know what it is, man? The more fights you call, the higher profile it is. You're going here, you're going there. It's a
Yeah,
shorter turn. You
yeah,
start to get nervous,
yeah. You're
or
getting
maybe
jitters
maybe you have commissions that are threatening to break your fucking legs. You know what I
like
mean?
the opening letter.
Like the opening letter, right? It's a callback to the opening letter. If you tuned in now, um, I
Joette
thought
was doing
I
good
thought
work
Joette
downstairs.
was
No,
doing good work downstairs, right? I
okay.
agree with you. I think Kagai had a rhythm. It's a split decision, but I thought the fight. What'd you think? I thought the fight could go either way.
I did you score it or no?
I didn't score it. No.
I had it 95-94 for Arnold Kagai. I
Okay.
like those angles,
Fine
the
with me.
Ukrainian angles, because he,
Yeah.
he. What is he ethnically? Is he
I think
Korean?
Korean.
Korean, but reps the Ukraine. That
I think he was
style,
raised there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That style that comes from Papachenko of angles. He was given a
Yeah.
lot of angles, and when he was, and then out of there.
Ukraine
Um,
amateur style. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Joel Gonzalez doing great work downstairs. You give him that work. Really good stuff from two really
Be
good,
cool if Pro
equally.
Box got a rematch.
Exactly what I thought. Equally matched prize fighters. Both guys busted up and bleed in the seventh. Kagai was hurt badly to the body by
I think
Joel Gonzalez
that
left hook
changed
11.
that that turned the tides for the
I
judges, I
think the
think.
fellas did too. It'd be Paul.
Yeah.
Someone was sitting at a fighter, a kid that's good, that's up and coming. Chris Algieri, Paul, Jimmy Smith, right? Is and the young kid who was sitting in that all
Mhm.
seemed to switch for them too. That shot because he was hurt bad,
Yeah.
but he didn't go down. I can't believe he stayed on his feet because it was so visibly,
Yeah.
fuck. I'm hurt to the body. My wits are about me, but this is brutal to the liver. Another um great main event from Pro Box and Gary Jonas. Like I
Yeah.
said, I had it 95-94 for Arnold Kagai. Judges had it 96-93 Gonzalez, 95-94 Kagai, 97-92 Joet Gonzalez. That card is crazy work. That card is crazy work.
Yeah. I don't know how you have it that far
Set.
apart, but
I mean,
that's every swing around goes to
yeah, you're trying to
Gonzalez.
give him every
Right.
if it's close, got to give it to him.
All right, run it back.
I say run it back, man.
Cool. I like it.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to say when we talk about getting how do we get people into this sport, da 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 da. My engineer Scott, who you know now because we went to the fights together, you're both from Long Island.
Mhm.
I hit him up and said, "Hey, man," because when he's in the studio, he keeps football on, meaning European football, soccer. I go, "Yo, there's a
What are
card
you,
on, bro."
English? Soccer.
It's proper football. Listen, footy. It's a little footy on in that, bro.
Well, we're here, all right?
Listen, man, you're not gonna
Don't make
you're
me
not
throw
gonna
you out of
fucking
here.
boss.
I'm gonna
You're not gonna
call ice on you.
you're not gonna boss
Get
me
you
around.
fucking
You're
tossed
gonna
out of this.
ice me?
I'm gonna ice you.
Fuck. So I hit Scott up. I said, "Hey, man, there's a nice card on. Put it on YouTube while you're at the lab. You keep footy on in the background because
Had it
he
on?
put it on. Was texting me after every
Great.
fight, during fights.
He had a blast at the fights.
He had a blast. And this is how you gain fans, guys.
Right.
Free cards, YouTube, guys. Get the app. You know what I'm saying? Pro
Exciting
Box app.
fights, great matches.
Look, Gary Jonas and Pro Box are doing amazing stuff. Look, stuff is competitive, and when it's not because they didn't put the guys in tough. It's because
No.
maybe they're good. Like this Valori is just steamrolling people,
Right.
so they're putting them in. The guy had say 25,
Pro
30
Box a lot of
fights.
fun, man.
Fun, man, fun, and you
Fun,
got
fun,
the
fun.
two
And
best.
by the way, they'll be in Philly April 5th at the
That's great.
2300.
That's great. That's great. So hey, look, those guys are the
And I
best
think DC the week after.
best announcers in the sport, and mad respect to Jimmy Smith to
So
be
now
able
they're
to hang
moving and
with those
traveling.
two dudes. Yes,
Yeah.
they're California, Philly, DC.
So they were in San
It was all
Antonio. It's 2 cards a month. This is how it's going to be in different cities. So approximately every 2 weeks, Like they remember they were doing it from Plant City every other week.
Right, right.
So now it's going to be they're on the road this year and they're taking Pro Box to you.
Yo, good for all of those guys. They're doing great work. There was
San
a huge
Antonio, California,
There was a void
2 weeks.
in boxing, B. Friday night fights go off the air. All right, Showbox is
Yeah,
still good. How many champions went through there?
right,
40, 50, 60, 70.
right.
That Showbox is off the air. We don't have afternoon fights on major networks anymore. There was a very there was
The drought.
a massive void for,
Void, better word.
yo, where is the cards with up and coming guys, undefeated prospects, or really good guys like Kagai and Joette, who aren't
Mm-hmm.
stars, but are at a very high level. Guys, watch that fight. It's for free.
Yeah.
Throw it on. The
And you
card's
can
up
get it
there.
now. You can watch it now.
Yeah, there's a
Still on there.
Showbox
It's
app too
archived.
that's free. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's archived, but
Hey,
the app,
listen,
yes,
got to talk about this.
we
This
do.
show comes out at 6 a.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah,
So Keith Thurman and Brock Jarvis. Now I've been wrong with my times.
you have.
I'm going on Boxing Scene. Okay, this is what I'm going off of their schedule.
Okay.
Wednesday at 2 a.m. I think that means New York time, Eastern Standard Time. Boxing Scene is owned by ProBox.
What does Wednesday at 2 a.m. in your pea brain mean
Hey,
against my? Now I was going to say again versus my pea
it
brain.
means fucking New York Philly
Wednesday,
time.
right? But Wednesday night, it's midnight Wednesday night. Then it's 1 in the morning. Then it's 2 in the morning. Wednesday night or Tuesday into Wednesday.
No, it's Wednesday morning at 2 a.m.
Yeah, but in
The
my
day,
pea
the
brain,
right,
I
but
still
the
go, yo, it's Wednesday
no, I
night.
worked in television. The day changes at midnight.
Not my brain.
Well, because you're a fucking nut job. So,
I don't feel
so
that
it's going to
that's
come
right and
out.
fair.
Theoretically, this is going to start, or apparently, or evidently, this is going to start 4 hours before our show is released on Wednesday.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. This Brendo is the pits when it comes to times.
I'm
So
going to go right now
now
while we're
I
all
will
on the horn.
I will
Billy,
support him for one reason and one reason only. Nobody gives a flying fuck about Keith Thurman, so they're not changing their time over there.
okay, now I'm looking. See,
Yeah,
this is good.
Billy.
PBC YouTube page, and this says
Guys,
Wednesday.
that's where it's airing, by the way, on YouTube.
Wednesday. Okay, so listen, the mobile app is
Mhm.
different than the
For
desktop app.
YouTube.
No, for Boxing Scene, what it's telling me.
Oh.
So now this says Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That was my guess that it would be Wednesday morning.
What would that be in Australia? Thursday night?
No, it depending on where Wednesday
It's in
night.
Sydney.
Wednesday night.
Okay. So that's the West
Billy, when
Coast,
we're
right?
talking to
No, East
Shane,
Coast.
he's usually like 12
East
out.
Coast.
If we need something to do, if I'm talking to Shane at like 6 a.m., B,
Uh-huh.
he like might be getting dinner together.
Gotcha.
So my guess is that it's Wednesday night
All
in
right. Well,
Australia, Wednesday morning for us.
okay.
Because there's at least two. I think there's three different time zones in Australia. Where is it, B?
Sydney.
Billy, can you look up what time it is in Sydney, Australia right now?
Right now,
Yes.
it's 2:45
PM.
p.m.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Correct. So what's that? 15 hours?
Right. So you're looking that
Well, we
doesn't
just
make
had the
sense,
time
B.
change though, too. Maybe that's part of it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So Thurman and Brock Jarvis. I don't know shit about Brock Jarvis.
Neither do I. This Thurman stinks. He always stunk.
This is at junior middleweight. This is the Tim Zoo sweepstakes. Brock Jarvis has a loss to Liam Paro. He was KO'd in one. I didn't see it. I haven't
Neither
done
did
any
I.
research. Maybe for next episode I will. They're fighting up a division. It looks like Jarvis after the Liam Paro. Nope.
He's got a Bieber
So
hairdo.
he fought at 143 less than 3 years ago.
And
Went
now he's fighting at 54 against Thurman.
fought this guy Adrian Rodriguez, who he stopped. Who I have no idea who Adrian was. The 13-10 at middleweight, and now he's fighting Keith Thurman at
Guys, the
what looks like
reason this is happening,
junior middle.
the reason
10
this
rounds.
is happening is because the plan is to put Keith Thurman in with Tim Zoo
Yeah.
in June-ish, I
All right,
guess.
I'm going to go ahead and just say Keith Thurman wins based on Liam Paro winning.
I guess I will too, but I think this Keith
I'm not
Thurman
going to break it
stinks
down.
when
So do I.
people, neither am I. When people were sweating him, I thought he stunk. He was being corny in this face-off they did.
I saw.
So I wrote on there, is Keith Thurman, has there ever been anyone more corny than Keith Thurman in the 150-year history of this sport?
No.
And as many people as agreed with me, just as many people were Keith Thurman fans, which I didn't know
Really?
existed. You're
He-
corny. You're a hater.
he had-
I'm like, what?
He had like
who
the
is
shitty busboy haircut
Yes.
with like the ponytail shaved underneath it, like that
Yes.
soccer kid haircut.
Yes.
Yeah, terrible. Like, why do you have that in 20?
He looks like Taylor Negron in Easy Money.
Yeah, yes. If you have that hairstyle beyond 1994, like, get out of here.
Billy Betts, is there a Keith Thurman, Brock Jarvis line?
There is a
Talk
little
to us.
little Tuesday night action.
To get
I like
wet
it.
your whistle and then stay up a little late.
Little base coat.
Right.
Tuesday's a nice day to get
That's what I
a
mean.
base going.
Right.
Yeah, Thurman is minus 290, and it's 8.5.
They think Thurman stinks. Thurman should be 10,000 to 1.
But he fights like once every 10
It
years.
doesn't matter. Bro, you think Keith Thurman's a 3-1 favorite against Brock Jarvis?
Jarvis.
Is fair?
I don't care. Thurman decision. He'll probably knock him out. But I'm gonna go ahead and stay safe.
I think this Keith
When was the last time Keith Thurman had a knockout?
a long time.
He hasn't been one time in a long time. He was run time.
Yep.
Because anytime he got hurt to the body,
Yep.
he was on his bike.
This Brock Jarvis, this corner should just be like, I don't want to see anything up top until the
You know what
fourth.
I'm thinking though? It's like I'm getting Bruno Sarachi vibes off of Brock Jarvis. Maybe the
You
names.
might clip him.
Yeah. Okay, so Thurman hasn't had a stoppage since Louis Collazo in 2015, and he's only fought 1, 2, 3.
10
This
years.
Brock is
guys.
a handsome man. He kind
He's
of
got
looks
the
like
he's got the hairdo.
kind of looks like
everything's-
Nash, like all grown up.
Yeah.
And he's
does.
only fought 6 times in 10 years. Thurman.
a tiny Manny Pacquiao put him on his back pockets too.
Mhm.
An old, I mean, Thurman looked like a middleweight in there against Pacquiao, and Pacquiao put him on his back pockets. I don't know how old Brock Jarvis is because Keith Thurman's got to be 35 years old.
Keith Thurman?
He's got to be
Is-
35 or 36. He's got to be.
I thought he was older than that.
It won't surprise me if he's 37. That whole crop of dudes is all like the same age
Yeah.
that Heyman had when they thought PBC was
Yeah, he's listed as inactive. Oh, Jesus.
as he should be.
As he should be. This is the prospect of the year, Keith Thurman, in 2012.
Wow.
Ring Magazine prospect of the year.
Wow.
He got a good run.
I mean, does he though? Does he?
Yeah, decent run. World champ,
All right.
you know?
No.
He's a world
no.
champ.
I don't acknowledge that
He's
championship.
36.
What do you
Why?
think about that?
That's silly.
I don't acknowledge that he was
Yeah.
a champion.
You're a silly goose.
Billy's writing notes down. He said this
Then you
kid's
pick Thurman.
this is the show, so I gotta go on record, but it's probably gonna change by Tuesday night when you hit me up feeling frisky for this bet.
I mean, he stopped Diego Chavez for the WBA.
He almost got dropped. He was hurt bad to the body by Chavez. Billy, if this line was as wide as it should be,
Beat Jan Zevic. He was
I would
good.
be like,
Carlos
put money
Quintana.
on this handsome fucking Brock Jarvis. But there's not even enough. You know when a line's crazy, Billy, and I'm like, put money. The line's not even
Right.
crazy,
It's not even worth it.
right?
He's plus plus 230.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Eh.
going Keith Thurman by decision, and he looks like shit. And this kid Brock Jarvis puts up resistance. That's my that. Thursday again, guys.
Yeah, dude.
4 a.m.
This one's at
ESPN.
4 a.m. I'm looking at it now on Boxing Scene. This is at 4 a.m. ESPN Plus.
Kenshiro Taraji versus Saigo Yuri. How do you
Akui.
say? Yeah, Akui. WBA and WBC featherweight titles. These
4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
yeah, this is a
ESPN
unification
Plus.
fight.
Give it to me.
He only lost to Masamichi Yabuki, who's good. And I don't know a whole lot against about Seigo Yuri Akui, or however you say it. I just know his 2 L's were by stoppage. So I'm always questioning whether or not you're chinny, you know.
Yep.
Um
So right
Taraji's
now,
1 loss was by stoppage.
Taraji has 2 belts, right?
Yes. Oh wait,
Or does
I think
well this fucking box rec doesn't tell me anymore for the
well,
WBA.
this is for you. This is a unification, guys. It's WBA and WBC. I think Kenshiro Taraji stops Yuri Akoi late,
Billy, we got any lines on that?
8 or 9.
William?
Yeah, Taraji minus 400.
Okay.
Is there an over under?
I can't find one.
All right.
As it gets closer, Billy, the over under will come, and that's when you're getting
So the
frisky.
WBA has
Right
a
as you're waking up too, Billy, on Thursday morning.
Thursday.
What do you think about that?
Well, on ESPN, I wake up, cup of coffee.
That's what I'm talking about. Are the
Maybe
kids up
maybe
yet?
like an Irish coffee. Start the day.
Little scrap and an Irish coffee. Who are you picking, B?
Taraji by stoppage. But this is interesting. So I'm on the WBA's website and they have Riyadh season as like a letterhead on here.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that's why they're not recognized by this box rec anymore. Remember we said the box rec doesn't do it's got no WBA ranking. It doesn't recognize the WBA anymore. It won't put it on there. So here we are. Here we are.
I wonder what happened there. Friday night, Yuri Cedeno versus Ulysses Rivera, middleweight, 8 rounds on the zone. Yuri Cedeno's sparking everyone clean out. That Dominican power, you know. He's fighting Ulysses Rivera has only got 1 loss. This might be
but it's an 8-rounder.
It's odd. It's odd to me.
They just had to throw a card on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many dates that they have to.
Yeah,
you know, they're obligated to us. I think Ulysses Rivera takes Yuri Cedeno the distance
in an 8-rounder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't. I think he's tough, Ulysses Rivera, and Yuri Cedeno is going to get his shots off, but it's a lopsided UD.
Hey, real quick. Yeah. Sego, Yuri, the fuck is his name? Yuri Akui Sego.
Yeah.
Sego, yeah. He's had the WBA flyweight title. I accidentally put featherweight on here. It's flyweight. They're flyweights since January 2024. Sorry about that. Just want to clear that up.
Saturday.
Thank you, Box Rec, for fucking us on that.
Nick Ball versus TJ Doheny. This guy keeps getting fired. This guy is.
Bro, he looks like a used speed bag.
Doheny looks 65 years old.
I know.
I don't know how old he is. He's not. He's certainly not young.
I think he's 36.
65. Featherweights. Nick Ball's got a title. You don't have which one on here. I think he's got the.
The WBA, it's on here. WBA featherweight title.
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad.
Yeah.
I do see it.
He's 38, Doheny.
Yo,
Sorry.
where did you see that they're airing this? Because this is on Sky Sports over there, and that's
I
the
saw it was on TNT something.
TNT. So TNT, I think, is the one that I made the big fucking announcement, like a jerk off that is in.
Like you were working for him?
Yes, like they were working with Peacock, and then the next one wasn't on there. Remember? And I was
Yeah, you were getting hate mail.
yeah. So I looked it up.
Liar.
I went on each app to look for it. And
Okay.
on the DAZN app, it says it's showing it Saturday afternoon.
All right.
I can check again right now because it's on my phone.
Hey, DAZN.
Yeah. Hey, DAZN. When is
You know,
this?
this is just a metaphor for how tough it is to follow boxing. We got fights at 4 a.m. on work days and title fights, and this box rec doesn't list the fucking WBA anymore because they're
All right, I'm on the actual app. We are not looking at other website. It's the fight poster. Nick Ball, Doheny, Ball vs. Doheny, Queensberry Promotions. Watch live Saturday at 2:30 p.m.
on
Our time,
DAZN.
of course, on DAZN. On DAZN that night, right?
Yeah.
Ammo Williams versus Patrick Volney, middleweight, 12 rounds. I don't know about Ammo Williams, man.
I know I think he's going to win this fight. He's getting a headliner, which I'm surprised about.
I think he wins this fight. This is the one that convinces them that he's ready in the Hamza
Yeah.
Shiraz thing, and then he gets packed up by another. He goes and fights another guy that's real
Okay.
and loses.
Also on this is, did you see the beef now? Edgar Berlanga's pissed off about being on this card.
I mean,
Should be a headliner.
he's just a buffoon. So when you say, did you see it?
Yeah, he's making a big stink, and I think Eddie's going to cut him loose after this fight. So don't expect to see Berlanga anytime soon. After this, guys, because I think he's going to get cut from DAZN. From Metrum. Sorry.
I don't
Just a little Brendo prediction. He's being a real jerk.
Yeah, I think Ammo Williams wins. Edgar Berlanga. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Edgar Berlanga's opponent.
He's not good. They said that. That's the whole point. He's fighting a comeback fight after the Canelo fight, and it's not really challenging himself. So
it's an NABO title fight. We've said before on the air, guys, the NABF, NABO, those belts used to, when B and I were younger, were huge stepping stone belts and meant your next shit was going to be a real one. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Edgar Berlanga wins this and gets a big fight. He's already chirping about who he wants next. It's one of the Charlos,
Caleb Plant.
Yeah, and whoever else.
It's like calling out inactive PBC guys.
Yeah.
And then Jermaine Ortiz makes a return against Yomar Alamo.
Jermaine Ortiz,
140 pounds.
Yeah, he fought at 35 and was just a monster there.
Mm-hmm.
His two losses are to Lomachenko and Teo. I think he did really good against Teo. People think he did really good against Lomachenko. I didn't have any problems scoring it, but he showed he belonged, So is that a measuring stick where I go, this guy's good, he belongs, but I didn't think he beat him or anything.
Yeah, but then he looked like shit after the Teo fight, and he looked like shit in between, right? Didn't he look like shit against Antonio Moran?
And the Christian Mino fight, when he stopped him, his style is weird, man.
I mean, he beat Jamel Herring.
Yeah.
I
think
we're picking Ortiz, we're picking Berlanga, we're picking Williams. We're just going with favorites here.
I don't see Jermaine Ortiz losing to Yomar Alamo. Also, same night, same network. Amado Vargas, one of the Vargas kids, is fighting. Eduardo Hernandez Trejo.
Is it on that card?
No, it's a different card. I think they're setting it up where one ends and the other begins.
Okay.
If I had a gun to my head, that's how it looks, like a different feed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one? Is that the Vargas that we're least impressed with?
I can't keep up.
I think it is, but I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm picking him because they're still putting him in soft, 11
Right.
fights in. So yeah.
All right. Got some mail tonight. Lots of it. Ready? All right. This is from Darren Shabbat. He says, "What up, guys? Big fan of the podcast. Thanks, Darren." He says, "Vinny, new single is dope.
Thank you, sir.
He's a DJ with a weekly mix show podcast, and I'll be putting that song in rotation this week.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Wanted to get you guys' take on Turkey and this whole deal with Dana White. I think we covered that. While I like what Turkey has been doing, making some great fights that otherwise wouldn't have been possible, I definitely have concerns for the long-term health of the sport. I know there's too many belts, promoters, and networks, etc. to get in the way of making the best fights. But do we really want a UFC type of model where fighters get paid shitty and lack of multiple belts that give fighters less opportunity to become a champion? Do we want the Ali Act? Oh, by the way, we didn't cover that. Want the Ali Act that protects fighters abolished, which I'm sure Dana is on the phone with his buddy in the White House right now trying to get it done. He is. He said he is. They're going
He
to try to
said he
get
is.
that. They're going to work around that. So did Nick Khan. Is Turkey owning Ring Magazine and controlling the narrative of all this a good thing? The sport definitely needs a change, but I'm not sure how I feel about all this. Thank you guys for keeping me entertained every week. I will be at the Boots fight next month in AC. Hope to see you guys there. Yep, we'll be there. Come say hi.
I don't know. Yeah, come up and say hello,
Darren,
man.
aka DJ Absurd.
DJ Absurd. I don't have a problem with your concerns.
I don't either.
I think they're BNI's concerns, and I think we're playing hurry up and wait. If we're correct, everything will be okay. If we're correct, if we're totally wrong, we're gonna come on here and say we fucked up. They took it over. Things are ruined.
Yeah.
And they're worse than they are now. It's a very much a be careful what you wish for because shit can always get worse. That applies to life too, by the way. But we've gotten good fights for the last, like B said, 18 to 24 months. If someone throws a curveball into that, but they've buried boxing many times since we've been alive, B.
Right.
Many times.
Boxing is dead 100 years ago. Headline.
Yeah. Headlines. Boxing's dead. Why don't you watch this? Boxing dead.
Boxing is the cockroach of sports.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, it'll always live. All right.
Yeah. Then there's a fight in front of 100,000 people somewhere with a sport you're telling me is dead. Stop.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
This is kind of a long one. We
Hey,
actually, hey yo, it's from Louis.
Louis.
This is greetings, gentlemen, from cloudy London town. Hope you are happy, healthy, and winning. Great podcast as always. Worst referee decision, he says. From what we saw 2 weeks ago in the ring with Steve Wills, not counting that as a knockdown, what is the worst referee decision you guys have seen? For me, it's Richard Steele, Taylor Chavez in round 12, where he stopped the fight with 2 seconds left. Inexcusable, disgusting decision. I'd love to know your thoughts on this as well.
I think if a nickname comes from something, that's number one. And I've called him for 35 years, Richard Steele Your Career.
Richard Steele Your Career, right.
So I got to agree with you, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Michael Conlon, did you guys see Conlon's first fight back on Friday, March 7th after 2 years out of the ring? I did not. My thoughts on what are your thoughts on him coming back to become world champion? If you have any, we've currently got some dogs at featherweight. He will not be a world champion. He got a points decision, which is, I don't know why you guys do that over there, on Friday, March 7th.
We talked about his return and said we didn't want it to happen.
No.
And I'll be honest, I totally missed it. I don't know if it aired here.
It didn't air here. And you said this in the Lost episodes that he's the most overrated fighter in boxing. You proved to be correct. He seems like a fun guy. I've hung out with him back in the day, actually his pro debut. Nice guy.
I have no personal heat with Mick Conlon.
No personal
I
heat.
think he's going to get
He's
hurt
a
in there if he keeps
likable
playing.
fellow.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
When I talk
you
certain
have a
ways,
big affinity for Irish people from Ireland.
I do
You
because
do.
I'm a real ball buster with American
Right.
Irish because there's a war there. American
Yeah.
Irish from Ireland will be like they make us look like jerk offs, and it's
Right.
true.
Well, Italians say the same thing.
Of course they do. Of course they do, and there's truth to it. I'm not going to
Sure.
say there's not, and I'm Italian. I'm saying
Right.
but it's very separated when you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're really. I think of American Irish as a cold people.
Mhm.
Is not the kind of hug and kiss like Italians and this and that. Look, Billy just jumped in for this one. People in Ireland are so kind and so welcoming and such good people.
Billy's ice cold Irish.
Nah, Billy's not. That's how you know there's not.
No,
There's
he's I could tell. There's a cold side to Billy. If you
yeah, but
cross
he'll still give you a hug. He'll
if you
still
cross Billy, he doesn't come back. No, he's good. Billy's become such a great friend of mine. It's insane. I love him to death. All right, moving on.
Aw.
Yeah, no Diddy. Um, Nick Ball.
I like when I pull the top of the computer part down and you guys just see my mic and
Yeah,
nothing, but my voice is going
it's
out.
so weird.
It looks like
Nick Ball comes back to the ring this Saturday against Doheny, as I'm sure you're all aware. I think he will stop him in the first half of the fight. Doheny is 38 going, I'm saying 38 going on 98. He isn't much of an opponent. Last time he was champion was 6 years ago, and even then he wasn't that great. They're talking about making Inoue Ball. Do you think this fight will happen? If Inoue moves up, I do. And also, how do you see it going? I actually think Inoue and Ball go the distance. Charlie Edwards. Okay, sorry, Charlie Edwards on the undercard of Baldwini. How do you see his run back to becoming world champion at bantamweight going? I'm not really that familiar with Charlie Edwards. I'll study up though, Louis.
I just wanted to say I don't know if you did. We somehow we pivoted. Did we make like an actual? I know who we think is going to win, but did we make a Nick Ball TJ Doheny pick?
Oh, I don't think we
You
did.
did
Let's do it.
not.
Is there a
I'm
line,
saying
Billy? Is there an what is the line? And
Nick
is there
Ball
an
minus 1,000.
yeah?
And
Ten
what's
and a
the?
half.
I like the
I
under.
love the under. He packs him up, Billy. I
Gonna
love that. I love that.
I think Dohany's going to walk back to the corner. They either throw in the towel or
He's busted up.
he himself says I'm 38 going on 77.
And at 10 and a half, B, I see that happening. I don't think it's close to that. I see that in
Earlier
7, 8, 9.
I was going to say the 6th round.
Yeah, I think he's really busted
Nick
up
the Wrecking
mid-fight.
Ball, who I've called, he looks like a pizza maker.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
does, yeah.
When you look small at featherweight, you're
Yeah.
freakishly small. Like, yo, this guy's small. You're already a feather.
And so Louis says Assault in the Ring, which you just posted about, Vin.
Yeah, I did.
I recently rewatched the documentary Assault in the Ring, brilliant documentary, disgusting and unforgivable act. But I also wanted to ask you guys, how many fights do you think Antonio Margarito wore tampered hand wraps and gloves in, and also how is it possible for him to get away with it? From what I understand, the hardening agent, it took a few rounds to get there. I think I want to say at least from the Kermit Cintron stoppage, he was
They hit
loading his
dirty.
gloves. He was whacking Kermit. He was never this knockout puncher. He was a volume guy.
Yes.
Kermit Cintron is a tough guy.
Yes.
This is a Pennsylvania high school state champion wrestler.
Yes.
In Cintron.
From Reading, really big at every weight he was at.
Right.
He was always big.
And just, I mean, I know the whole like he flew out of the ring thing, right? Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
With Paul Williams.
Uh-huh.
So there's some peculiar stoppages. That one I remember seeing peculiar, and Margarito goading him. Remember, like, come on,
Yeah.
come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
And this is when whatchamacallit, Emmanuel Stewart was training him.
Mhm.
Again, man, I always praise the high school wrestlers on this because it is the hardest high school sport. It's the hardest interscholastic high school sport.
And to be doing what they have to do at that age with their bodies.
And if you're a PA, which you guys are cut from a different cloth in the Northeast, a PA state wrestling champion,
you're a goon.
You're a goon. There's no quitting you.
No.
for some reason, Pennsylvania and New York, we have good wrestling here. In both states, it doesn't make sense because usually it's the Midwest guys, Ohio, Iowa,
Yeah,
and then of course like every other high school sport, California, Texas, and Florida.
yeah.
But I think at least since then, since that fight, possibly the Margarito Paul Williams fight where he chopped up Paul Williams. Guys were getting cut strange. I thought the results looked different. I'm a certified Margarito hater. Um, so you can at me or whatever, and if you have a different thought, I've seen people defend the shit out of him. I don't get it. It's indefensible. There's
I defended him at one point, and then it became things unfurled, if you
okay.
will. You know,
I'm a firm believer in you cheat until you get caught. I don't think that was their first rodeo. Um,
if
so
you
what are
if
your
you're
thoughts? Sorry.
no, my thoughts are that you know if you get caught uh with drugs on you and you're said I never sold drugs before. This is the first time.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and no street guys. That's what do you do? I defended Margarito back then, guys. Don't feel the need to
So
write in.
I actually just want to clear up what I was saying.
I had legit disdain for Miguel Cotto to the point where I was going to Cotto fights to root against him. It started with the Paulie fight, and I pretty much went to every fight at the Garden
Okay.
until a certain point. The Mosley fight, the Zab fight, like
Mhm.
the Cotto at the Garden was a big thing, guys, for a long time.
So I think from like '05 he started to load his gloves.
I never saw a guy who fought in as many divisions as Cotto, who was never the guy at any of the divisions, get so much praise. 40, 47, 54, 60 was never the man at any of them.
Agreed, but I mean it's pundits and fighters alike all praise him. And
I
not
know they do.
because
I know they
everybody
do.
that ever was in the ring with him talks about how good he was. Except for Margarito. All right, let me just finish this one up. And it's Sugar Ray Leonard, Aaron Pryor. He says, "Talk to me."
I don't think Ray wanted it with him. I
I don't
really
think Ray
don't.
wanted it with him, but they also Aaron Pryor, right? I mean, did he have like one fight outside of 140 pounds?
Correct.
I don't.
Correct.
I think it was this. I don't know what the deal with Ray Leonard, what that was, because he fought.
I heard he was a bit difficult, Aaron Pryor.
I heard so.
Ray was definitely difficult, but he had the
Sure,
right to be. He was Ray Leonard. The
but
guy
again, this guy fought Duran twice, fought Hearns 3 times, fought Duran how many times? Later on in their
did they
career,
fight
right?
3 times,
Yeah.
maybe? I think they fought three
I mean, he
times.
fought
One more.
Hagler.
No, when I say he didn't want any
I know
parts
what
of
you're
it,
saying. I'm
I'm
saying
not
what the
going down the
what I'm saying what the world says.
no, but I mean, if you go down that he was scared of him, you go, this guy fought the Roberto Duran, the meanest fighter that ever
Well,
lived.
Tommy fucking Hearns in his prime.
I more mean this guy's name isn't Duran Hearns.
Right.
So I got to fight an absolute goon who most people don't know outside of at
Yeah.
the time, his fights with Alexis Arguello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those were
Mhm.
fight fans fights. This guy wasn't a superstar, Aaron Pryor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So there is no this guy's Sugar Ray ducked him or he was scared. I think dollars make sense. And he's like, if I'm gonna fight goons, it's gonna be goons that net me a ton of money and make it worth it. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna get punched in the fucking head by a goon,
Yeah, I mean,
And if you really go back, like you said, he hovered around 140. It doesn't line up as
it
much
doesn't
as people
people
think.
think, right.
It's kind of like
This is a guy who fought Wilfredo Benitez. I mean, again, like his resume speaks for itself, and I just don't think the time was right for Pryor. Look, again, people will argue this forever that he
Yeah,
ducked
until
him.
everyone's
But
dead. Yeah, it's the
I
same. B, you know what it reminds me of? When you can, if you're a Floyd hater, which we're not on this show. He's not a
no.
good person, but as a fighter, he's
We
brilliant.
always give that disclaimer, by the
We
way.
do.
The asterisk, we do not like him as a person.
It's the same way lining him up. Like, did he avoid Kostya Tszyu? And you're like, I guess I could call
Right.
it, but not really. Like he
Yeah.
was fighting, you could kind of see where it, because you start connecting people. You're like, well, Hatton fought Tszyu, and then Hatton
Yeah.
fought Floyd, and you go, no, 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 no. He fought him at upper weight division at
Yeah.
47. I think Ricky
Yes.
went up right after
Well, yeah, Hatton had gone up to
to fight
47,
Louis Collazo, and he kind of lost.
kind of lost. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
gave it to Ricky. Yeah, Louis
Right.
Collazo kind of beat him.
That was a close fight.
It
It was a really
was.
good fight.
It was. I might
All right.
watch that again. To be honest,
I
with you.
yeah.
Ricky Hatton, Louis Collazo. I love Louis Collazo was a
It's on
cool
regular
dude, too.
HBO.
Yep. Louis
All right.
Collazo was a good egg. I sat with him at
Yeah, I got good pictures with him. Good
at
guy.
Zab Cotto. Talk about a torn guy, a Puerto Rican from Brooklyn. So he's Boricua.
Oh, he's definitely a Zab guy for
And
that.
then
Yeah.
I'm it
Yeah.
was interesting to sit with a fight with a guy that
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Tyler Nolan, our friend Tyler from CT, writes, he says, fellas, I don't think Tank cares about losing. I actually don't think he cares that much about boxing, other than it's a means to an end. He has 20 people in his corner with their hands up his ass trying to maximize the length of time they can get money from him. He's probably the mental age of a 14-year-old. Vinny's been saying this for years. So you have a fighter that doesn't care about legacy and a team that loves it. Tank is one of those fighters, like y'all say, that I feel like I raised him from a pup. I disagree about his ring IQ. He used to set up traps, box, and walk people into shots. He does his better work from mid-range, in my opinion, not from inside. His timing was atrocious on Saturday. I think that goes into he doesn't train anymore. And I don't think Vinny was saying his boxing IQ wasn't good. It isn't now. He doesn't train. I don't think. Oh, I said okay. He goes on to say, I don't think he's training. I don't think he's taking any of his opponents seriously, and I don't think he has much agency over his life. I hope this was his wake-up call. I totally agree with you, and I think he's been acting. You called it, Vin. Every press conference, you're like, he's way off.
He's off. He's off.
Like the
if I can just talk about the IQ, this is a personal opinion, okay?
right.
I believe you really see the peak of someone's boxing IQ when they're under duress. So these things he did before, whether it was setting traps or I believe it was against such limited opposition that it appeared to it's watching someone who's articulate in a room full of dummies, and you start comparatively saying that guy was really articulate amongst all those idiots, and comparing that person to some. Now you think they're Noam Chomsky because they are cutting a promo amongst a bunch of dolts. That exact fight happens during what we're going to call Tank's prime 4 years ago. It doesn't play out any different to me.
Okay. I'm going to say, not disagree with you, but just say the guy is just making weight, which we suspect is happening.
Yes, we do.
He's now just making weight, and he's 30. Elevator smoking pot in the projects, what appears to be, or whatever,
I mean, I've personally seen him double fisted with the, when you get the nachos.
But hang on, what I was going to say was, if he's not training, he has no control over his life.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, the mental capacity of a 14-year-old, all of these play into, and after the fight in the press conference said, I know I screwed up. I should have picked it up, and I didn't. Maybe because you couldn't anymore. There is that we talk about it, that next gear guys have, and he certainly had it, but I think it's a combination of what you're saying, Vin.
What fight did he have prior to this in which he was under duress and had to go there? to that
Well,
dark place.
arguably, people are saying Frank Martin. Arguably, people say Santa Cruz.
Paul
Ar-
Malignaggi, broken orbital bone against Miguel
right.
Cotto, keeps fighting, and without that point deduction, I have that fight 114, 114. I only gave it to Cotto because of the knockdown.
Mhm.
Paulie wasn't even hurt.
So let me just finish what I'm saying.
Yeah. My bad, my
I
bad.
don't think it's there anymore. I think it went away. And again, if you're not training, look, if he comes back and fucking flatlines Roach and has a resurgence, that hey, I'll say, okay, I'm wrong. I don't think
What are you wrong about if that happens? That's a possibility.
that he doesn't have that he's 30, doesn't train and doesn't have that next gear. I don't think he has the higher gear anymore. I don't think he has it. I think we've said it's a matter of time before someone takes him into deep water and he
Yes.
fucking drowns.
We talked about someone athletic with an IQ with good fundamentals and a
Right.
chin.
And a chin. And we've seen it. I don't think his punching power has gone away. I don't think his desire to earn money, again, what did he do really differently except not have that next gear?
What happened when someone who knocked everyone out starts going? There's a better guy, and then a better guy with a chin, and then a better guy with a chin. Popo Freitas, who
Right.
I loved, by the way. I
Right.
loved Acelino Freitas. What happened when it got elite, and then a more elite, and then more elite?
He
Didn't
quit.
knock guys out, and his losses, he quit, and he
Quit.
and he stopped knocking people out. You know,
Once
There's-
it once the road got tougher, he didn't want to travel it anymore.
no.
All right. So he also says, P.S. Chordale Booker is from Stamford, Connecticut. We know that. Local guy gives back to the community, praying for a miracle in that fight.
That's nice to hear.
Cool.
He's good there.
Stamford, Connecticut, the city that works. That's their motto.
Okay.
All right. And of course, we end as we normally do with a letter from A.V. Julian. Okay, A.V. Julian is the third host and second producer on this show. He says, "Peace, gang, and Ramadan Kareem to Vinny Paz and the
Appreciate you,
Knocker
bro.
Nation where applicable." Atrocity vendor here. There is no shortage of news and developments in our beloved wacky world of boxing these days, and no one who tackles them as brilliantly and compelling as you guys. I love the pats on the back. Thank you, AV. But to veer away from hard-hitting issues, I wanted to ask whose mental aptitude is more out for lunch between Remedial Rowley and Bam Bam Brandon. I'm assuming it's
Rios.
Brandon Rios, yeah. Who would you guys say has the more unfortunate intelligence quotient between these charming fellows?
My response is a shocker.
Bam Bam?
Yeah.
Me too. Because Rowley's actually clever on some of the interviews, like the shit he says. It's
If I have to be of one of their intelligence quotients, I'd rather be Rolling.
I'll tell you right now, Brandon Rios, I think everybody's had a friend like Brandon Rios.
And I think Brandon Rios is also an awful human too for making fun of Freddie Roach.
Yeah, I was
and
just
his
gonna say
Parkinson's.
Rios is a guy that when you hang out with him, he makes you nervous
Yeah,
because
this guy's gonna do something.
totally unpredictable.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking live wire.
Yeah,
Something's gonna happen tonight.
right. You're walking
Like
down.
Irish Billy.
Mhm, mhm.
A
Baseball,
wild card, if you
a
will.
wild card. I had a friend, shall remain nameless. We'd be walking down the street, walking down the street. You just pick up a brick and throw it through a plate glass window without warning you. And he's like, laugh at it.
My friend that did the same thing to a Wawa did 18 years. So I know.
Yeah,
Not for that. Not for that. Not for the Wawa. We were literally
Yeah,
walking
maybe
by
a family member of mine is doing like 24 years
Yes, maybe.
and would do stuff like that.
Right. It's a possibility
Still
that
locked up.
happened. Right.
All right. That's it for the show tonight. You can find me at TheKillerB24 on Twitter. I've been going bananas on Twitter.
Big fan. Big fan.
This is like 3 weeks in a row of me being a total psychopath.
Big fan.
I'm gonna keep it up. People seem to like it. Get me on my more friendly Instagram. I really am a parallel of Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, I have a different personality than I am
A
on Instagram.
juxtaposition, if you will.
Yes.
Mhm.
At I_no_that_ kid. Write us at kotbboxing@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at kotbboxing. Follow us on YouTube at kotb podcast. Vinny, where can they find you?
You said Twitter. I don't think we have a Twitter. KEOTB
Oh,
Boxing
I
on
said Twitter.
Instagram.
Oh, KOTB Boxing on Instagram. Didn't I say that?
Dimwit, you
No.
said on Twitter. At Vinny_Paz on Twitter.
They know what I mean.
At BoxCutterPazzi on IG. At KEOTB Boxing on IG. JMTstore.com for Knock 'em Out the Box shirts and all things related to music. The new single, Vinny Paz featuring Army of the Pharaohs, Battle Scars.
I love it. You
Overlord
got everybody
is
back
out now.
together.
I did.
Got the old band back together.
That's out now. So release date for the record, all that coming soon, and then 2 super special projects coming really soon. Billy will tell me when I'm allowed to talk about them, but I'm hearing this month, meaning March. So you won't have to wait long. It's already the 11th.
I know.
Which is fucking
What's
bad
happening?
shit. I don't know, man. The
It'll
way
be
time's
2026 before we know it.
moving, yep,
I think we're just getting older, and this is what happens.
it moves faster. I always say to you guys, and you agree with me,
We have our 4-year anniversary next month.
1 year of high school feels like
Oh.
4 now.
Remember that? Like, do you measure? This is some real off the show topics that me and Vinny have at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you measure time in high school, Bill? I do. I'll be like 3 years, and that is freshman to senior year. I measure everything in high school.
Yeah, I do it the same way, but I count it as 4.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do that,
But
Bill?
Yeah, I get it.
Like
I get
Vin
it.
and Vin was a senior when I was a freshman.
Billy's not
Right.
wrapped up in the past like us.
All Vinny and I talk about when you're not on the thread
Correct.
is the past.
Correct. Now,
Like we just
Billy's
send each
not
other
wrapped
pictures
up.
of old
You
stuff.
guys need to
Billy's all about the
live in the
now.
present, my friend.
We
It's all
do,
about
but
the
we
now.
still we love to reminisce. I think we're a little older than you, and that's probably why, because we grew up in the best generation. You're a millennial. We're Gen Xers.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
like
your shit
the
was
first
trash,
millennial.
Yeah, you're an old millennial,
Your
but
shit was trash.
right. Like, so we could go. Who was number 1 on the charts
Right.
during your high school years each year?
Right.
Right, and ours will be better than yours.
I mean,
Correct.
I'm not going to disagree with that statement.
What year did you graduate high school?
03.
That's like peak Nelly.
That's
How
peak bad everything.
Nelly was what popped in my head.
That is peak Nelly. And I don't want to shit on Nelly. He had his.
That's a rough go though, man. Like that's your senior year now, Nelly.
Yeah.
Say
like,
lunatics? What are you?
I was
nuts?
just gonna say.
Come on.
Yeah, like
This guy had a
bad
fucking
the Bad
Band-Aid
Boys
on.
the Bad Boys 3 soundtrack.
It's a bad time.
Bad
man.
MTV. That's rough.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll
Peace.
see y'all next week. Say goodnight, Billy.
Good night, Billy.
Knock 'em out the box.